Welcome to the Astoria Film Festival Step and Repeat interviews. Today we're speaking with Mike and Alison Hayhurst, who created Olivia Wears a Bear Hat, featured in our 2020 festival.
My name is Mike Hayhurst. I'm the director and producer of Olivia Wears a Bear Hat.
And I'm Alison Hayhurst, and I am the writer and producer of Olivia Wears a Bear Hat. So then we just started thinking about what's the story we want to tell, and we knew we wanted to highlight Astoria and where we were. One, because we don't ever want to leave Astoria or our borough. So we're like, what were the locations that we have available to us? What were the things we would pass in a car? And then sort of, built a story around that. And we knew if we were going to have the DP in the car with our actors, that we could only have a max of 3 people. Otherwise, people won't fit in the car. Although we crammed.
I got in there as well.
Yeah, you got in there as well to help direct the scenes where we were driving around. So it was taking all those limitations and then thinking creatively about what the story is we could tell. And we loved the idea of I'm originally from Alabama, so having this group of friends who are sort of taking a cathartic road trip to sort of just, shake off a recent divorce and just life in general. And so wanted to really capture that feeling of friendship and those families that we, the families that we choose, and how that support network can help get us through anything. And that, even if that's just getting lost driving around New York City when you actually have ended up in Queens somehow.
That's amazing. And you had mentioned the whole cramming into the car. How did that work out? How was working with actors in the smaller space?
So it's a challenge. It was tricky. And like I said, the day before we shot, or the night before we were scheduled to film, we had a giant snowstorm.
Right.
So we were kind of dealing with that. We had our 2 actors in the front 2 seats, one driving, one in the back seat, with the rest of the dialogue, the DP, and then I was running sound for those scenes as well. So, you just had to get very comfortable very quickly, and make sure that that space is, as supportive as possible, so actors could do their best work. Making sure it was a safe space as far as driving is concerned, and things like that. And it actually gave us a real chance to kind of bond in a way that was kind of unexpected, actually. We would drive around the block, and then, if we'd go for another take, we'd have to drive back to the starting point of that scene. So we had a lot of time to just kind of hang out and, just kind of chat, I guess.
And that same, and I was not able to be in the car, but I know from talking with the actors as well, they sort of fall into that road trip where it's hey, we're going to have some snacks and we're going to listen to some songs and we're going to dance and sing in between, just resetting the shot. So that was, I know it was really funny to hear about. And also our production designer, Ava, did an amazing job. And so there was also, outside of just the people in the car, she had dressed, there's tissues because, someone has been crying. And then of course, you fill your car with just junk food when you're on a road trip.
Yeah. It helped us keep warm as well. This was, we couldn't have the heater running for the sound, obviously, and it was freezing cold outside. I think it was below freezing that day. So the 5 of us in our big coats kind of crammed into a car. We were toasty and warm.
Lots of blankets.
Yeah. And, the rest of the crew were stuck outside, not having as much fun, I think, as we were.
What's some advice, I think this goes more for you, what's some advice on directing that you would give?
I think know your strengths and also kind of acknowledge your, not weaknesses, but your growth areas. That's a really nice way of saying weakness. And so, I think it's knowing when you are not the best person to kind of make that decision. So there was, a lot of kind of camera stuff and film stuff. I referred to Liz, our DP, and how will this look when it's color graded? I don't know. I trust you to kind of make the decision about, do we need some extra light? Can we bounce something here? Will we get some background outside of this car? Those kinds of things. And that also kind of freed me up to work with the actors. And I think, to have that time with the script to kind of talk through character things, to talk through different kind of motivations or different kind of dynamics between these 3 characters. that was a kind of a strength I think that I have. So kind of I could focus on that, trust the team around me to take care of the things that, aren't necessarily my strengths. So yeah, I think for directors, we often try and control everything. And I think that really limits, I think, the potential for the work sometimes, because you have a crew around you who have their skill set, they have their experience. And I think the more you can create an environment where everyone can bring their best work, I think that's when the final product kind of really.
Yeah, it's film as collaboration.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, making sure all those voices are heard and acknowledged.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then Alison, do you have any advice as a writer?
No, I think don't limit, like, especially on first drafts, like, never limit yourself. Because I think especially in this situation, there's like, you hear these other voices of like, oh, that's going to be really hard to shoot. Like, I don't actually know how I would shoot that, but like, that's a cool idea. So allowing yourself to not let those voices take over initially, and just tell the story that you want to be telling. And then in future drafts, you can look at more, if you have other constraints that you need to apply. But otherwise, yeah, just tell the story that you want to tell.
Can you tell me a bit about yourselves and sort of like what's led up to this film?
Yeah, so we have a production company called Evening Squire Productions. We're based in Astoria. I think the company's been running 5 years, 6 years now.
Oh, wow.
And we're always looking for kind of interesting stories, and just kind of stories that kind of connect us and kind of highlight different experiences and different kind of journeys and stories, things like that. So yeah, I mean, both our backgrounds are in theater. I was a theater director. Alison was a
costume designer,
actor, puppeteer,
for a bit, yeah.
all sorts. And yeah, we kind of slowly transitioned into film. We make social media videos. We have a couple of different web series going on. We have some features in development right now. A whole bunch of work, I guess.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What was it like working together?
I think we're really fortunate, and we are a married couple, and we started a business together. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know how I would work with my spouse. But I think that we work really well together. But I think what's really great about it is I think it's also strengthened our communication as a couple as well as business partners, because we do know each other so well, but also because, yeah, when you're working, and especially now we're working together 24/7 in our apartment for the time being, being able to talk openly about what's going on, if your personal life is affecting your work life, or vice versa, that having someone who's your best friend and knows everything about you is really awesome. And I think really supportive, and hopefully helps us create a supportive environment for folks that come in to work with us.
Yeah, I think there's, we've kind of developed almost a shorthand as far as communication goes on set. And you as a writer, if something's happening, or like you have a different interpretation of a line, you barely need to lean in, and I go, yep, I know. Yep, I got, you don't need to say anything. And I think as a producer, it's a similar thing. You have such a strong skill set when it comes to producing. There's just an immediate trust. Like I trust you implicitly on set. And I think that is kind of testament to our relationship. Yeah, so it's great.
I love it.
It really is. It really is great. Not to say it's not, without its challenges, but yeah, I couldn't ask for a better partner in producing and I don't know what. Yeah.
We could get real sappy. We won't.
Yeah, we won't do that. We won't.
Is there any advice you'd give young filmmakers that are trying to do similar things or just make films in general?
One of the things I would say, especially to younger filmmakers, is just to make the work.
I think you learn so much by doing too. Yeah. So just getting out there, making your own content, telling your story, you're going to learn, you're going to pick up new skills, you're going to meet new people that you may work with in the future. And I think that's what's so important to keep in mind, is just to don't you're always going to have that voice in your head being like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, oh, you know, oh, it's not going to be like exactly how I picture it, but like, make it, do it. And if it's horrible, then don't show it to anybody. But otherwise, yeah, you could end up with something really, really great, and you don't know until you try.
Yeah, and it gives you, it puts you in situations that you could never plan for. And then once you've been in that situation, you know how to deal with it in the future. We had a snowstorm the night before we filmed. Well, we just had to make that work.
Get some shovels and we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. And thank you to our PAs. Pauline went out with a shovel, and she's from Southern California, I think. I was like, I don't know how to deal with snow. What do I do with all this? But you figure it out, and you make the work, and then you have the thing. And it may not be perfect, but you might also find these kind of happy accidents and these things that, you know, will last forever on film. And just so make the work. Just do the work, put in the time, and then you get better for every project that you do.
Yeah. Other than that, is there anything else you'd like to add?
We're just really excited and so thankful to the Astoria Film Festival for programming Olivia Wears a Bear Hat. We are super excited to share it in the area that we filmed it in. So
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, I think that's it. We've lived in Astoria for over 10 years. We're building our company in Astoria for the last 5 years. And so to screen our work here, it's such a wonderful community. And especially the arts district around Kaufman Studios. Wonderful neighborhood, wonderful community, and just very grateful to be included in the festival this year.